Hello, all, and welcome. We are continuing our series, AI and the Workspace, where we dive into how artificial intelligence is reshaping the way companies train, grow, and future proof their workforce. Today's episode is all about scaling AI upskilling in medium to large companies, the challenges, the opportunities, and what it really takes to make AI literacy a core capability, not just a buzzword. Joining me is Dr. Guido Minaya, CEO and Chief Learning Officer at Minaya Learning Global Solutions, who's been researching workforce transformation through intelligent, scalable learning platforms. Stay tuned to learn more. Hello, Guido. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Dario. It's great to be back.
All right. I'm excited to continue this series. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Why is it so hard for larger organizations to scale AI upskilling?
Yes. Well, that's a great question. I think a lot of companies jump into AI training, in many cases, thinking that it's a technology initiative, right?
Understandable.
But scaling really means almost everyone, right? From frontline workers to the C-suite, all need to understand how AI fits into their role. And challenges including fragmented L&D systems, lack of role-specific content, and often no clear business AI strategy from the top that is linked to learning and development. So there may be, pockets of good work being done in the AI space that impact a specific work group or function, but that's similar to an AI startup within the context of a larger company, right? It may be very successful, but still such a small part of the organization. Without a clear strategy, the adoption can fizzle out. And when we talk about scaling AI literacy, there needs to be a clear solution on how to effectively get this done with measurable outcomes and with evidence of true AI skill attainment.
You mentioned everyone needs to understand AI, but can you explain what that really looks like?
Yes, I think once AI became an opportunity for us, we thought, okay, well, does everyone really need to be trained in this area? Should it just be, our IT team? But it's really like digital literacy 2.0. So AI literacy means people don't need to know how to build models or develop algorithms, right? But they do need to trust, to interpret, and make decisions with AI. For example, a marketing manager should know how AI can provide guidance on questions for customers, right? A finance leader may need to leverage descriptive and predictive analytics, right? So every department has key roles that need to better understand how AI can enhance their particular process.
You mentioned a couple challenges earlier, but what are some common pitfalls that companies make when rolling out an AI training program?
One that comes to mind is going too technical too fast, right? Another is making it a one-off event, sort of like a workshop or video series or an e-learning curriculum, and expecting behavior or culture to change, right? AI upskilling works when it's embedded in workflows and tied to real-world applications. And that's where our AI HI Center of Excellence makes a big difference.
Yeah, I can imagine with how fast AI is progressing, right? I'd imagine that those one-offs are not very helpful in the long run. Let's talk about solutions then. So why did Minaya Learning choose to leverage the Solvably platform?
Right. Well, our firm started down this path back in 2023, and we assessed the trajectory of AI and made a strategic decision to begin our own journey of reframing our processes, right? We wanted to learn what would make us more productive and efficient leveraging AI. So we began by looking at the instructional design role and looked at platforms that could assist us in our review. And our research directed us to Solvably, which is built around challenge-based learning. So instead of passive content, it gives learners real-world business problems to solve for, tailored to their roles. So in our case, we began with the instructional design process. We then looked at the facilitation process and look for ways to further improve each of those areas. And we found that the platform was so engaging and logical that in 2024, we became a strategic partner and now leverage this approach with our clients through our AIHI Center of Excellence. So it's a personalized, tailored, hands-on, scalable approach across functions. So whether you're in HR or ops or sales, you learn AI literacy by doing something that's relevant to you, not just by watching. You learn by creating an end deliverable, not just by taking an assessment.
So, how does Credible.ai complement that?
The experience is relevant, but now when we look at measurable outcomes, when we look at skill attainment, right? Credible AI powers the credentialing and analytics. So through AI, it verifies skills in real time. So companies know who's gaining proficiency and where some existing gaps are, right? So it's like having a skills radar for your organization, which is essential if you want to track company workforce competency attainment and workforce readiness.
Can you share a success story that brings this to life?
Besides our own company, which has 10x our productivity and measurable outcomes, we have had clients also improve their process workflows that increase productivity. So one client focused on the customer experience process, all the way from when a lead comes in to a sale being made to a completed implementation. And they dissected the multiple process steps and solved for key processes by leveraging AI, right? They not only went from 0 to 60 in their understanding of AI, in their AI literacy, they solved for business issues with hard dollar impacts. The initiative had the full support and participation of leadership. And that's exactly the philosophy we support. It's real use cases tied to business goals and strategy supported by leadership.
Wonderful. What's the balance between just-in-time learning and building long-term AI capability?
It's about combining micro learning with continuous learning. It's about learning from pilots and then looking at longer term strategic projects, right, that might connect processes that have been improved. So our approach provides that micro learning, bite-sized learning moments that align with real challenges. And it also can track progress and then also track progress over time. So you're not just training, you're evolving your workforce and creating a culture of innovation.
Well, that sounds great. Now, Guido, before we wrap up, although I feel there are many, what's one takeaway for L&D leaders trying to scale AI upskilling?
I don't know if I can limit it to one, but I'd say as learning leaders, we have to be among the first to jump in, right? As learning leaders, we need to lead the AI evolution in our firms. And in some cases, senior leadership does not know how to scale effectively, right? How to scale AI literacy effectively. And this is foundational to building a culture of innovation. So that's where we step in. This is a very important role that we have as learning leaders. So don't treat AI literacy like a checkbox. It's an organizational capability, an organizational competency that will become the differentiator for your company's long-term success. Start with the business context, tailored learning journeys at scale, and leverage AI to measure what matters and keep leadership engaged all along the way. And really, that's how you can go from a pilot within the learning and development space to an enterprise-wide scalable solution.
Well said. Well, thank you, Guido. That was incredibly insightful. And to our listeners, if your company is ready to move beyond AI hype and build real workforce capability, check out MinayaLearning.com. In our next episode, we will have a dialogue with Solvably founder Angelo Biasi. Until next time.